Hello and welcome to Wholeness, a Quantum Experience. We're your hosts, Shannon, Ledford, and
Adinolfi.
And we welcome you today. We're going to chat about emptiness.
Yes, and let's be clear that emptiness is different than hollow. And I think that's an important distinction because when it came into the field, late 2018, early 2019, we were in session. She was leading an ancestral session for me. I was with my mother's father's people. And I don't even remember what the topic was. All I remember is they were like, empty, you need to work on emptiness. And like, I hated that. It was not like, was it what? Why do I want to be empty? Like, that sounds horrible. But what I've learned, because it's even more present right now, I think it's more present for the collective, but also my word theme this year is divine expression. And what I'm learning is that I have to empty all the things that are not me so that the divine can move through me. And I'm going to let you talk a bit before I say more.
Yeah. So a couple of things are happening. One, I'm finding with my ancestral medicine clients right now that emptiness is coming up on a regular basis. And that when it does, they are often having this same reaction of like, oh no, not emptiness. And it's interesting because I knew we were going to do this today. So I had a bed session before we started doing this. And I was thinking about this. And what became really clear is that emptiness is not, I mean, you were talking about hollowness.
Yeah.
What came to me was it's not depletion. Because I can feel depleted and empty from being in life and running a business and with my girls and with my husband. And sometimes I feel depleted. And that's not the emptiness that we're embracing or moving towards. So it's interesting that yours came in as hollow and mine came in as depletion.
Yeah.
Because there was this emptiness, this empty cup that you can't pour from or whatever. But that's not the emptiness. Yeah.
But as you say that, like when I feel into depletion, part of what weighs me down are all those things that aren't me, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then I guess going back to emptiness and hollowness, when I think of, so some people will also talk about the void, or, you know, when we think of the quantum field, that's kind of like this void place, which again, it's like, I don't know about you, but when I go into the quantum field, there is sort of this empty, and empty is not really quite the right word. Think about it when you move into a new house, and let's assume it's also been cleaned, because that's a different thing too. So you move into a new house and it's clean. It's like this blank slate. Yeah. And so then from that blank slate, you can bring the other things in. And so when you're in, when your body is, or not even just your body, right? Your field. Ooh, so this is the other thing that's coming up. So we see this really, and I'm not going to name her, but we see this really amazing practitioner that does sound medicine.
Sound healing.
Yeah. But it's not sound healing, but it is. Yeah. But anyways.
At its basis level.
Yeah.
It's incredible at its base level.
And so sometimes, but it's like very medical. It's not woo-woo at all. And sometimes, so like, you know, we get sick, so our bodies can get sick, and it'll present with like a fever, stuffy nose, what have you, right?
Yeah,
and we know it's a virus.
Dis-ease,
right?
Like you're out of ease.
Yeah. But sometimes the body won't appear sick, and sometimes what will occur is like outside on the edge of the field is where the virus is, right? So like you have your field and things are happening out here, and then they might get closer, and then enter the body, right?
And sometimes like stress or other things that are going on open up a pathway for that. Say.
That and or other people pushing it, their virus touching your virus and talking to each other, right? Yeah, we have all these different ways of this happening. But I guess my point here, right, is when we talk about emptiness, it's not just your physical vessel, right? So it's your field, it is your physical vessel, it's your thoughts, right? It's your, like, what information are you taking in? So what social media are you looking at? What are you reading? What are you watching?
So I think what can happen too is that all of us try to, even in those moments where there is this emptiness, they can cause discomfort, and then we try and fill it. And we try to fill it with social media and distraction and this and that and whatever it is. And it's that quiet within ourselves. It's the quiet that transcendental meditation used to bring. It's the quiet that the bread brings to me. And it's those moments of learning what it feels like to be in that emptiness so that I can get more comfortable with it. So I'm not pushing it out all the time or trying to fill it with distraction. And I am not immune to that at all.
Same. Yeah.
So this is all a work in progress. But when I slow down, and slowing down is part of it for me, the emptiness.
Yeah.
It's a major slowdown for me. When I slow down and let myself be in the emptiness and things start to percolate and happen.
Yeah.
Emptiness we're really talking about is space.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're talking about the new house you walk in. It's not cluttered yet.
Well, it's even if you think about a conversation, right? And if there's discomfort, like people will just like sometimes I even notice with my partner, right? Like I will listen and he will just keep talking and talking and talking. And sometimes
she did this to me yesterday. I started to do this. She's like, can I ask a question or you just need to be heard? I'm like, ask the question. It's great.
Yeah. But in that discomfort and filling the space, right, then we're not then allowing potentially, that space for the thing to drop in, right? Like that's part of the, when I'm thinking too about the beauty of this bed, right? One of the benefits that we share is like having clarity and like deeper intuition. That's because when you get on here, you're creating more space for the things to come through. So you can actually hear the message. You can actually like that the divine that's been trying to get your attention can get your attention without dropping a boulder on your head, because that sucks, not that I don't get boulders because all the time, but yeah.
And I believe that God and the divine drops pebbles on us, and then when we ignore them by distraction, then we get the boulder. This also plays with what Jabara was talking about the funnel getting really narrow and getting really pinpointed on something. It made me think of what I was talking to you about yesterday. It was like I was so narrow in my interpretation of what was going on. And that when you asked the question of, hey, did you think about this or did you think about that, I was able to then slow down enough to move up to that bigger part of the funnel that she was talking about, where you get to see more and there's more space and you can lay the cards out and really see more of what's going on.
Right. Which reminds me of what you talk often about in that like first response and second response too. Like you have to have that space, that pause, that slow down before you get to that second response.
And sometimes you can have safe spaces too, where you bring that first response. Like I brought a first response to you yesterday. I was like, dude, this is not working. And you're like, oh, and I went on and I was starting to roll. It was starting to go. I had all my things.
And I'll let you go to a point. Yeah. That's my role.
Yeah. And then I'm so appreciative of those spots too, where it's like, hey, are you in a space where you just need to like let it out and for me to be like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Or are you in a space where I can ask you a few questions and just we'll see what happens?
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah. So we have people who help us, create that space or come at things through a different perspective. We have technology like the quantum energy wellness bed. We have facilitators, right? There are all these meditation.
Nothing creates more space for me right now and that practicing comfort with emptiness than the bed.
Yeah.
It's half an hour on the bed, an hour on the bed is.
Well, and the other really beautiful thing too, I think about that is that like, Yeah, it's. I was gonna say it's just you, but that's actually not true because
No,
we have allies.
it's
But I mean, like, there's not this external force that is necessarily like holding your hand or guiding you through a thing. Like, you are the one that's guiding yourself along with your spiritual team.
yeah, the bed's a resource too.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be super clear. The bed doesn't create the emptiness.
Yeah.
The bed holds an environment, releases the static so that I can be with the quantum field in that void, in that emptiness, and in that I practice. Yeah. And we talked about this last time. And then I take that and I go out into the world and I get thrown off and things go blah, blah, blah. I was just saying this morning, I'm coming to the bed like once a week, about like definitely once a week and sometimes twice a week. But like, my body's wanting more than that. Like, my being's wanting more.
Yeah, mine too. My new ask, I think, of myself is like daily, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. We'll see. I came yesterday. I came today.
There was time. There was time.
Yeah.
When this bed first arrived, the ask was for me to come daily for 15 days.
Yeah.
And I did. And sometimes I was at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, which is not my favorite time.
Yeah, and I've never had that call. Like, twice a week has been really good for me.
There was something about what I needed to do with the bed to stabilize here myself with the bed and the bed here physically, geographically.
Well, and again, it's going to be different for everybody, and
totally,
and different times, different seasons of our life, different seasons of what's happening with the world. And right now, we're really co-creating this new earth template right now. And so
where emptiness is going to be held more collectively. So we're not going to be so prone to distraction. And we're going to get, as each of us gets more comfortable with this quiet, with this emptiness, it creates more space for those of us to deepen in, others to come and play in this emptiness.
Yeah. And also, if anybody is going to the, space abhors a vacuum, I hear you. And what happens is that emptiness becomes holiness or wholeness or light or the divine, right? So we're not just getting empty and then we get a bunch more.
Again, it's not the depletion. It's not the hollow. It's not the shell. It's not just becoming a shell.
Yeah. Like, I very intentionally, my work for me personally, again, my especially with my words being divine expression, like that, to my intention is to become empty so that I can be a vessel for the divine. Or like, I think, I don't know if you grow up hearing the body is a temple, right?
Sure.
And I feel like for me, it has new meaning, right? Like, this is the temple of my soul, my spirit, right? And so it's not about like not bringing impurities into the body. It's like having a really clean, beautiful temple space. And by the way, again, not perfect at this, working on it because I'm human.
So not perfect. Please do not hoist perfection on us. You just don't, we're not it.
Yeah.
If that's what you're looking for, you're not in the right spot, friend.
But my point being that, the more I can make room for God within me, basically. Like, that's, and I guess that's what I mean by like the temple. Like, and again, it's not even just my body, it's my field, because it's, my field is translating so much to your field, and your field is translating to our fields are translating to you right now.
It's a birthing process in a lot of ways. It's like the womb is empty, and then it's full, and then it's empty, and so there's this space to do things and for things to come about.
Yeah, and I think too, it speaks to this. We just did a program called Structure and Flow with Sarah Poet for the last 90 days, which was really great. And it's also just, it's like having that, like, I almost want to say like pristine structure, like that structure, whether it's our body or like a light grid around us, whatever it is, really, again, allowing the divine to flow through. But if we have like a cluttered structure, clogged pipes, there's less room for creation and the divine.
So here's the story I'm going to tell.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. So many years ago, God, this would have been 2009.
Before I knew you.
Before we knew each other. God, that doesn't even seem possible.
I know.
And I was headed to the ashram at the beginning of 2010, right? Just been 6 months in the ashram, in the Transcendental Meditation ashram. And I was at a friend's house, and I was looking at that point for like a really stable, romantic, intimate relationship, like someone I could have kids with, and that wanted that, and like wanted to build a life together. And at that point, let's see, I would have been 34 going on 35. And what came to me was that the room in which that was going to be built was full of stuff. And I saw it so vividly. It was like that room that it was like the attic room almost. Like it wasn't in the attic because I could see it doesn't, but it was like the room they had it was like the kids' room, and they'd gone off to college and they put all the extra chairs, and it was just like packed to the gills. And I realized, so this was like probably that October before that, because it was Halloween time. I realized, I'm going to do this meditation to make space, in particular in that way. And I said to the friend, I was like, I'm sure I'm not going to meet my husband at the ashram, but this is going to be the place where like this space is created, like where all that stuff is moved out. And, I could see it visually as chairs and all this stuff, but it was, traumas and past stuff and past all the stuff, right? I did meet my husband in the ashram. So cool. That was October 2009, and we got together in October 2010, because I spent 6 months in the ashram, and then I was back in October for a meditation retreat. And yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. We've been together now for 15 years and have, 2 girls. So I hadn't thought, like, whatever you said triggered, oh my God, that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, we are. And what's even cooler is I don't think I knew that story. And what you're talking about is basically that part 2 of frequency marketing that I'm doing. It's going into the quantum, like looking at the different containers and seeing what's there and what needs to be addressed.
It was like my house.
Yeah.
The house that is me.
Shannon,
and this was cluttered. And I needed it to be that way because I was doing a lot of healing.
Yeah.
And I needed nobody to be in it. So I made it very uninhabitable.
Totally, yeah. And what's interesting, because I looked at my own house, and it's not always going to look like a house, by the way, when you go in for yours. But I was doing a little differently. It hasn't looked that way
since for me, actually. But I just remember
as
that
a house,
really
yeah. Well, again, mine happened also to look like a house. I didn't go in it though, because I was also our business, the House of Ava, and then my business too was there, as well as something else. But so I didn't actually go in. But the thing that I noticed is, and this won't be a surprise to you, but all the lights were off. There were no lights. No lights. Okay. No lights. So it's hidden.
The lights were on, and mine was just full of crap.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gone in yet, so I got to go in the house next. Actually, I worked on some money stuff and some flow stuff around the house, which we'll see what comes of that. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So because I had a pool in the front that was deep but dry and empty, that was representative of money, and I have now changed it into like this sort of figure eight.
Fountains.
It does have as figure 8 rivers around our business and my business and my house. It's yummy. I was working on it on my bed session today too, so I'm excited to see what comes of it.
I'm excited to hear more about this. This is all new to me too, guys. I'm hearing it.
I actually had to draw a picture because I was like doing it in the like visualizing it. And I was like, I need this to be a little more tangible. So like last night I like drew. I'm not an artist by any means with this kind of stuff, but it's just nice to draw. And then so today when I was practicing, I was like doing it as like a movement. And anyways, it felt really good. So
see, so this is what we're talking about though. Like it's gonna look really different for you.
Yeah.
Likely.
Yeah.
And the ask is actually to ask the question of, am I putting stuff in, the distractions in, so that the emptiness, so that the divine stays away from me because there is no emptiness? And in what ways can you make small shifts to create cracks for light?
Yeah. Well, and two, it reminds me, I think a lot of us, hopefully, and it doesn't matter if you like Marianne Williamson or not, but she has this really great quote about basically our greatest fear is not the darkness, but our light, right? And so I know that is definitely my greatest fear. And so I do a really good job of hiding and tamping down my light. And so right now the work is to, release my veil, my cloak, whatever it is, so that I'm not in hiding. Need to turn the lights on, as we can see in my landscape of my container. And the other thing that I wanted to bring in here too is it's not only paying attention to distractions. It's also, what am I holding on to that I need to let go of, right? Like, what am I holding, even if it's in the outer ring of my field, like what am I holding on to that I can let go of, so I can let the divine move through? And maybe it's not even letting the divine move through. Maybe it's allowing yourself to express as you, like whatever that is. And, maybe also what you're letting go of is a story, or, there's just all these things, right, that we can look at.
And it's not necessarily like, small shifts can have profound effects.
Yes. And awareness, awareness.
Oh, you know me. I'm like, awareness is 95 to 99% of the thing. Some of the rest of it takes care of itself.
Yeah, for sure.
But the awareness is where it's at. Yeah. You can't do anything if you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for joining us today. Let us know what kind of emptiness you're playing with. What's coming in around it. Again, thank you for joining us. Come visit with us again. We'll see you next time.